Hello, Nick here from TechNuovo and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making some coffee with the Melitta EPOS 2-in-1 electric grinder and pour over machine. But before we get into it, please show some support for the channel by subscribing, chatting to us in the comments and following us on our socials, which are all linked below. So this is the Melitta EPOS. It's an electric pour over coffee machine with a built-in grinder. The idea is you grind your favorite beans into the filter paper, then move it across to the water system, and it delivers a few cups of coffee for you. The EPOS has a number of features, including a 360-degree rotating water spout, multiple grind settings and brew strengths, and it has a removable 1 litre water tank, which will make up to 8 cups of coffee, and it includes a warming plate, which will keep your coffee warm for 40 odd minutes. As you can see, the machine itself is fairly large and it will take up a fair amount of space on your kitchen worktop. There are 2 colour options available, black with either gold or a silver trim. I quite like how it looks. It's exciting to look at. It intrigues people who see it, and it does have a luxurious vibe to it. On the left hand side you have the grinder with outlet below. There is a plastic lid to the top. Take that off and fill it with your beans. The hopper comes off too, gaining access to the grinder so you can get in there and clean it too. To the right is the pour over part with the water tank at the rear, clip-on section for the filter in front of that, and a rotating water outlet above that. Below that is the glass jug with plastic insert so it secures to the filter safely and also doubles up as a spout, which makes it easy for pouring. Below the glass jug is the heating plate, and then below that and to the front are the touch controls. In the box you get the machine plus all the associated attachments, an envelope with 10 filters in and some instructions. I also got a bag of beans in the box. Bloom Ethiopia Limu beans, which we're also going to be trying out as well. As for setting up the machine, very little was involved as it comes in one piece apart from the filter and the glass jug, which are wrapped separately. Add the beans, add some water, turn it on, and you are good to go. Now, there are a number of options and factors to consider while making your brew. Firstly, bean grind, and there are 3 settings shown on the grind slider. Coarse to fine, but you can also push the slider in between these settings so you can have more than the 3 options available. The grinder is good for pour over. It doesn't grind fine enough for espresso, but it doesn't need to. Next is the number of cups you want, and you can choose between 2, 4, 6 or 8 cups. Whichever you pick, you need to match the amount of water with the number of cups you want. So if you want 6 cups of coffee, you need to insert enough water for 6 cups. The machine is dumb in that sense and doesn't measure the amount of water it's providing. It just empties out the tank. Lastly, strength of your coffee. 1, 2 or 3 or strong, medium, weak, although it's far from weak. The machine has a number of touch controls on the base, and you need to touch them fairly firm to activate them. Turn the machine on via the power button and then press the other buttons to suit your brew configuration. When happy, insert the filter paper into the filter and place it under the grinder. Hit the grind button, which is also the power on button, and the beans will begin to grind. Once ground, transfer the filter to the other side and click it into place under the water outlet. You can now either pre-brew or go straight into main brew. Pre-brew, Pre-brew releases a small amount of hot water just to get the coffee grounds excited. Hit the brew button and it will either start brewing or pre-brewing. If pre-brewing, there will be a minute or so pause in water flow between pre-brew and the main brew, and I've said brew too many times. Right, Steph, come join me and let's make some coffee. Okay, right, so Steph has joined us and we're gonna make some coffee. On the right hand side of the water filter, don't take it out, take the lid off, and you need to pour enough water in for 4 cups if that's what we're going for.
I'll guesswork it.
You can, there is indicators on there. Take your filter cup, said filters, you get 10 in a pack.
Is this new? You bought this, this is a new pack, or have you had some of this before?
Yeah, that's what I've been using to test the machine.
Oh!
It's a very dark roast. It's quite...
Is this going to be better than having a Starbucks?
Wait, no. he's clearly never made coffee before.
Instant coffee from the kettle.
That goes under there.
Right.
Take this off.
Yeah.
Put some beans in. Goes round. Put the lid back on.
Spread them around.
We've got the various grind settings here, so we'll just stick in the middle, but you can go either way and in the middle, but it doesn't click. So we'll stick in the middle.
What does that do? Speed it up.
How coarse your grind is.
Ah, okay.
So big pieces to little pieces.
Right. I'm sure coffee connoisseurs will understand that.
So we're going to select 4 cups, and we're going to go medium strength. 1, 2, and 3. Just go medium.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just hit grind. You can hit grind.
This one?
Yep.
Bang. Better not talk now because it's going to be well down.
So that's done. No, it's done. So.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
There's your coffee in the filter. We move it over. Oh, yeah.
Missed that one.
And plug it in. And now we can do the pre-brew or the main brew. The pre-brew is already on, so we're going to go with that. So just hit the brew button and it will start flashing. The pre-brew has worked, so it's done a little bit. There's a little bit of coffee there, but it's going to pause for a minute. Let the coffee soak in the water, and then it will start rotating again, pushing more water through, and we'll have our cups of coffee in a couple of minutes. Coming through, smells good. So when you hear that noise, the steam's coming out, it's going to finish soon. And then we're going to leave those, we're going to leave the jug for a few minutes because it's going to be absolutely boiling. It's finished. And then we'll have a drink in a minute. So that's pretty straightforward, right? Once the brewing process is done, your coffee is ready to drink, but be warned, it's very, very hot and will remain hot for at least 40 minutes while the hot plate stays on. This duration of time for the hot plate cannot be changed and cannot be turned off either, but you can turn the whole machine off if you wanted to do that. The machine does have an auto off feature, so it will turn off by itself after 40 minutes anyway. The hot plate is very hot, do not touch it. If you remove the jug, make sure that the machine is off and keep any little hands away, or big hands, but I'm talking about my children. The machine heats the water up via a little electrical heating element and releases it through 3 different sized and positioned outlets within the rotating head. This allows for a very good spread of water and pressure across the entire surface of the coffee grounds and produces a bloom. The time taken for the brew varies on how many cups you are making, and during that time the head will rotate clockwise and anti-clockwise, plus release water out of 3 different outlets at varying times. Experts say this is a better way of brewing. It ensures an even coverage is produced and doesn't leave any wastage on the sides either. The grind process is loud like any grinder, while the brew is a lot quieter until it's nearing completion and it lets off a little bit of steam. The overall process is very efficient and it does deliver a good brew. The differing options for the grind is good. You can see the difference with ease, but noticing the difference between strengths is a little harder. This is partly due to the beans and will have a different outcome depending on that. But I could taste a strength difference between 1 and 3. The buttons work fine. There is no tactile response once pressed, just the lights, but there are beeps when certain things have finished. Cleaning the machine is easy. You can get right into the grinder and brush that out. The rest of the removable parts can be washed by hand in the sink. The base where the glass jug is easy to wipe down. I've not had to anti-calc it yet, but from experience with other Melitta machines, the process should be quite straightforward. A note on the grinder, it does just chuck out the coffee grounds, which is fine when the filter paper is below it, but if you wanted the coffee to release into something else, there will be plenty of spillage. As mentioned before, and along with the machine, I did get a bag of beans to try out. The specific beans are the Bloom Ethiopia Limu, which had a very dark roast, so they were quite bitter and not quite my cup of tea, or coffee I should say. I prefer a more lighter roast, but my parents tried the coffee too and they liked it a lot more than me. It must be them mature taste buds of theirs. A 200 gram bag of beans costs $7.99, which is fairly priced, and you can also pick up a pack of 40 filters for $2.99 direct from Melitta, and you can use other ones if you want, as they are generic in shape and size. To round things off, the EPOS is a lot of fun both to look at and to use. It performs well extracting the coffee evenly and offers options on quantity and strength. It will take up a fair amount of space on your kitchen counter, but so do some of the other high-end machines. The addition of the warming plate is a fantastic idea and allows you to have multiple cups in the morning. A word on cups, as mentioned before, they did measure quite small. It's a small cup in my mind when compared to a standard UK mug. Some may find having the grinder and pour over together odd. You may already have one of either of those types of machines, so this may not be for you, but if you have neither, then this would be perfect. It currently retails for £299 here in the UK, and we'll leave a link below to the official Melitta store if you wanted to purchase one. That is a wrap on this video. If you've stuck around, then thank you very much. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you've liked it, and if you want more, hit that subscribe button. We're also hitting Twitch pretty hard right now, so come join us one evening for a game at twitch.tv/TechNuovo.